Hi, and welcome to OwnerRez. In this video, we'll go over all the stages of a quote inside of OwnerRez. To get started, select Quotes on your left menu bar. On the Quotes page, you'll see all the quotes that are currently in your system. And if you look under the Status column, you'll see exactly which stage the quote is currently in. There are 4 stages to a quote. There is Open, Booked, Preempted, and Expired. First, let's take a look at an open quote. When you open the quote, you will land here on the Overview page, which gives you a nice overview of the entire quote. On the left, you will see general info such as the status of the quote, the expiration date for the quote, the property, party size, card status, and any tags that you've added to this quote. On the right, you'll see the total charges, and then below all of that, you'll see the guest information, the dates, any notes you've added, and an activity log. Up at the top, you can click Send Quote if you're ready to send this quote to a guest, or Convert to Booking if you'd like to directly convert this quote into a booking. To change the property, dates, group size, and more for this quote, click on the Change/Move button. Additionally, there's a Notes button for quickly adding notes, Copy To if you want to copy this quote to another quote or to a booking, and then of course a Delete button if you want to remove this quote from the system entirely. The next tab at the top is Charges. Here you can see a clean breakdown of the charges for this quote and make any changes by clicking the Change button here. The next tab at the top is Rules. Under Rules is where you can see and make any changes to the rules that determine how the payments, security deposits, and other billing matters are handled for this quote. Next, we have the Messages tab, and in this section you can preview, change, and send quote notifications. Next, we have Send. In the Send tab is where you can change exactly which template gets used for this quote and make any changes you want to the email. Lastly, we have the Payment Form. The Payment Form button will give you a live preview of the payment form your potential guest will receive when you send them the quote. Let's take a look at that now. This is the exact form the guest will receive once you've sent the quote. The guest will first be prompted to enter in their contact information, and they'll see some helpful information on the right, including the property information, arrival and departure dates, and a clean breakdown of the charges. Once they've saved their contact information, they can choose whether or not they'd like to add travel insurance. They'll be prompted to sign the rental agreement. They'll fill out the payment information, and then once finished, they can select Confirm and Finalize Now to complete the booking process. The booking is now complete. Let's go back into OwnerRez and take a look at this quote. Here we'll see that the quote at the top for Terry Collins has been switched from open to the booked status. And if we click into this quote, you can see that we are no longer able to adjust the dates, guest information, charges, or rules on the quotes page. To make any changes to this booking, you will now need to do so through the Bookings page. Now, let's go back to Quotes by selecting Quotes on our left sidebar and look at a quote with a preempted status. This status means that you have 2 quotes with overlapping dates. Here we can see that these 2 quotes for Gary Smith and Travis Collars are both for May 10th through May 14th. And because Gary Smith booked this quote, Travis Collars' quote directly below went into the status of preempted. If we clicked into the quote, and then selected the payment form, you can see that on the guest side, Travis Collar would now receive a message which says, this quote could not be booked because the property is no longer available at some or all of the dates. Quotes inside of OwnerRez are allowed to have overlapping dates because before they are converted into a booking, they do not block out any dates on the calendar. Once a quote is converted into a booking, the dates will be blocked, and any quotes that have overlapping dates will instantly change to the preempted status so that you don't receive any double bookings. Let's say, for example, since these dates are no longer available, you'd like to send Travis Collars a new quote with dates that are available for your property. To do so, let's go back to OwnerRez, click Quotes, and then click into the preempted quote. Next, click Change/Move, select New Dates, and then select Save. Here you can choose whether you'd like to stick with the current charges based on the original quote, or if you'd like OwnerRez to generate new charges based on the new dates that you selected. Now, if we go back to quotes, we can see that Travis Collar's quote has been changed from preempted to open and can now be sent to the guest. Lastly, let's go over quotes that have the status expired. Every quote, no matter how it's created, has an expiration date. And if we click into the expired quote here, we'll see that this quote expired on January 17th. Next, if we click on the payment form above, you can see that once the quote is expired, the guest will not be able to complete the booking, and they'll receive a message which says, "This quote is no longer available. If a quote is not accepted before the expiration date, the quote is no longer valid." To extend this quote, let's go back to OwnerRez, Quotes, click the expired quote, click Change/Move, and then under Status, you can choose to keep the existing expiration date, extend the expiration by a certain number of days, or simply enter in a new expiration date here. For this example, we'll extend it to 10 days and select Save. Now, if we go back to quotes, we'll see that this quote has gone from expired to open and is available for the guest to complete the booking. For more information on quotes, please visit us at OwnerRez.com/support. Thanks for choosing OwnerRez.